Astra and the indigenous aspect, and even Srivastava also pointed out. Let me bring both the gentlemen again on the indigenous capability. We have had indigenous capability in developing missiles like Agni and Akash as well. But having a BVRAAM for the first time and joining that elite club, one, how did we manage that? It has been almost 15 years of development, which has resulted in developing this kind of missile. And what are its unique capabilities and characteristics? First you, General Saxena, and then even Srivastava.
Sir, I personally feel that while Meteor is the top of the line, as we have already brought quite a lot of work and good work in that, and we must recognize our own indigenous capability, because tomorrow it is the indigenous capability which will hold you in stead. Now, our BVRAAM capability development started sometime in 1990. And after about, let's say, 13-14 years of work, in 2003, the first BVRAAM called Astra 1 was launched. Now, what is this? What is the difference? What is it talking about? Now, if you talk of Meteor, it has got a throttable ducted ramjet. Means it can adjust its thrust in the missile combustion chamber, in which it can adjust what is the thrust developed by the engine, how much fuel is to be given to the engine. Like suppose if the target is a very far distance, then the missile need not burn out the complete rocket motor. It will burn out, it will pump in more fuel in the missile system, so that it has a greater speed, it has greater maneuverability, it has a greater component in the end game, greater push and greater pull in the end game. That's why it has got such a tremendous no escape zone of 60 kilometers, in which the aircraft cannot outrun the missile. It cannot outrun means cannot make it expend its fuel completely. It can only outturn by maneuvering. Now, our Astra 1 was not on this category. We did not have a ramjet earlier. We only had a rocket motor, and that rocket motor produced a thrust of 4.5 Mach, gave a range of 110 kilometers, and between 2003 to 2019, 29 times tests have been carried out of various Astra, and now we are coming out to Astra 2. When we talk of Astra 2, there were 3 types of development which took place. We also thought we will go in for ramjet technology. We thought, shall we go in for solid ramjet, or shall we go for a dual pulsed motor, that means booster and sustainer thereafter. A decision was taken that will go for solid fuel ducted ramjet. What does that mean? It means that we will have a technology similar to Meteor, but even one better, means a different type of technology. What is this technology? In this, there will be a nozzle-free booster, which will boost the missile initially. The hot gases which come out, in the case of Meteor, when the hot gases come out from the booster, there is something called EPCU, Electronic Propulsion Control Unit, which has got a valve, and valve can throttle up and throttle down the engine depending on what thrust is required for the missile to go forward. In our case, we do not have this stopper system. Hot gases are coming out, we will have a hot gases regulation system. Means we will have a regulator which will limit the amount of hot gases getting into the combustion chamber. Thereafter, how much thrust is Meteor? The Astra 2 is being worked on the same technology. If you will recall, February 2016, February 2019, the SDFR was successfully tested by the DRDO that this technology called solid fuel ducted ramjet was tested. And now when the Astra 2 actually comes about, it will have a range of 160 kilometers. It will have a speed only of 2.3 to 4.3, 2.3 to 3.3 Mach. That is what is the speed which is being talked about. But what is more important? What is more important is that we are rubbing shoulders with the niche technology. Today we also have. Now, what is the Meteor having? Meteor is having an active radar which takes care of the end gain, that is the terminal gain. Here, our active radar will be an SR radar which has a range of 40 kilometers and will have a cone which will have a similar no escape zone, not so much as 60 kilometers, but will have a comparable. Like we talk of AIM 120D, it has an escape zone of 23 kilometers. These are 3 times escape zone, but we will be somewhere in the middle. So we should be proud of the fact that our BVRAAM technology will start some stage in around 2003. Thereafter, continuously developing from liquid ramjet, decision taken to take solid fuel ducted ramjet, and developing hereafter. And in this testing process, the last test was carried out in 2019 February, which was a success. In fact, DRDO put out a headline that last 5 tests of Astra 2 were successful.
Have been successful.
So
Okay.
while you see what happened, the company, the Meteor company, the French have said very clearly that while we'll give you the Meteor for a Rafale platform, we are not going to integrate our Meteor with any of the Russian
any other-
platform,
or
with
the
any of the Israeli platform. Now what happens to your Mirage 2000, what happens to your SG-30 MKI, what happens to your Tejas, which has got electronic warfare component from the Israeli company, what happens to MiG-29K, which is also requiring, you require your own weapon, and your own weapon is coming up in shape. We should respect that capability, we should utilize that capability, and we should.
And that is where the indigenous capability
Yes.
comes in handy. So, AVM Srivastava, two aspects here. One, our technology, which we have indigenously developed, is at par with what the best players in the world have in terms of BVRAAM technology.
Actually,
and second, it has come at the right time. We need it right now.
Actually, not only I'll agree with General on this aspect, I would rather feel it's a matter of pride for the country. But given all that, I must also say that improvement is an ongoing process. If today Meteor is the best in the world, we need to reach there. But if you really ask me, in motor technology, what General mentioned, we were always very good. We have been consistently good. That's why we have done all Agni series of launches, Prithvi series of launches, and Akash. All these missiles which have come about, they because of the rocket technology, and we have harnessed it very well, whether it is solid fuel or liquid fuel. Now coming forward, that we have made Astra throttable also. That means as far as we'll be able to pace up or pace down depending upon how the target is behaving and what kind of agility the target is showing. That is another part of the game. But there's one thing we need to further master. Today, if we see, the Astra has been built on 2 seekers. One seeker is Russian seeker, which is Agat seeker, which has come out, and the one is indigenous. So we have to still refine our indigenous well-manufactured seeker, because seeker is the heart of the whole business. Now, once that gets mastered, which I believe will get mastered, because as the order is being placed on BDL, we all know about it, and it's likely to come. The first order is going to be nearly of 200 missiles or so, out of which 100 with Agat seekers and next with Bell seekers if they succeed fully, which it will go. And I hope and pray that that happens, because that gives you the capability which you are really looking for. And once that capability comes and you're able to master that further, that's where, and another very crucial part comes with it. As Manu pointed out, this missile is very costly. If I compare with the cost of the missile which we are making, Astra, which is nearly comparable, because it's got all the features we need to improve upon, including the jamming resistant feature, which is very important. It can work in intense ECCM environment. I would say it is a shade down, but it is somewhere comparable. Then it becomes, price-wise, it is 1/3.
And
1/3, that means I can
that's a
acquire
crucial
3 times
aspect.
more. That's a very, very important aspect. And as General pointed out, I am free to put it on any kind of platform. MiG-29s, Su-30s, which are my mainstay. LCA at the moment I got Derby put on that, attached to it. I can do there also. So once I have my own technology, indigenous technology, and the industrial environment supporting that, then you'll really gallop into this technology.
Okay.
You'll catch up very fast. Catching up is not so difficult as producing the first working version. And the first set of things worked really well. They really worked very well. With the blast fragmentation being available, with the proximity fuse being available, it does not blast before or very close to it. It goes only if the target is within its kill zone.
Okay.
So that's it. So it's a composite technology including seeker, blast fragmentation, engine, and the kind of guidance, mid-course correction, redesignation. All those factors will come in play to make a BVRAAM so effective as we want it to be on all our platforms.
Okay, Manu, with all these aspects, now that explained in detail about how our indigenous technology has come about and all that, and it is pretty much at par with the world's best out there, does save us money as well, and we obviously need to go ahead and further build on our indigenous capabilities of developing BVRAAM technology. So, if you look at it in a holistic perspective, where are we and where are we headed?
See, the problem that we've always faced, and this has been an issue which a lot of people will agree, is that technology we develop, we fail in productionizing it, in manufacturing it. So I was fortunate enough to be in the French facility which makes the Meteor. I was there earlier this year. and they have been producing missiles there for 5 decades, and they've been producing hundreds of missiles a year. So there is no fault. Our issue has been in the past, some very good products which have been developed by DRDO, once they get into production, they face issues and niggles. And that's when the armed forces reject them, saying the quality is poor, production is failing. So we have to improve on that. And the only way you improve on that is you have to place numbers. So if you place an order for 200, don't stop there. It's the first generation missile. You have to give the Indian manufacturer, I think you should call in private industry to manufacture this. They have more precise methods of production. But you have to just give them additional orders. You can't stop. We've seen an example with the Arjun tank. We did induct in limited numbers, but we should have had much more if we had to produce a next generation tank system. The same thing should not happen to a missile like this. We should be consistently ordering it, improving it, refining it while in service, and giving the Indian industry a chance to produce it at par with, say, Howard Western nations.
Okay, and that gives what you're indicating is that gives the industry a chance to go ahead and put more effort into further both resources and money as well, and obviously, motivation there. Jal Saxena, concluding comments from you.
My concluding comments are that technology doesn't stop anywhere. What is beyond BVRAAM? Now today, let me just tell to the user, today the stealthy aircrafts are coming.
Okay.
Now these aircraft do not require BVRAAM. They say we do not want such long range missile. We want more missiles of short range. Why? I can get closer to the enemy aircraft or enemy target without getting detected. I am stealthy aircraft. I require missiles with larger number but shorter range. This is called HOFERAAM. HOFERAAM is a new concept which is coming out, and the missiles which are coming out is small advanced capability missiles which are larger in number, very, very accurate, but can get closer to the target without getting detected. They do not want to carry a few very long range missiles. They will rather carry more missiles of shorter range but better capability.
Okay.
So that's how the technology flies and flies and flies.
Okay, so there it is, another option there, as General Saxena is pointing out, in terms of the future of the technology. But as our panelists explained well in detail, the entire concept of BVRAAMs, the technology involved, and more importantly, the indigenous development of Astra, the BVRAAM, which DRDO has developed and will further improve upon it. We'll come back again next week with a different topic and different set of guests. Till then, keep watching.